Turned down for what, Lil Jon? DJ Snake right there. It's the Average Joe Sports Show. I'm Senior Airman Kellen Carr, host of the show, and we're back after about 3 or 4 week layoff, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, right.
I got 3 gentlemen joining me in the studio right now. I got to my left, Mr. Hollywood. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Welcome back. Right. Thanks for coming back and bringing the show back, coming out of retirement.
It's a pleasure to be back, and glad to have you here, man.
Yeah,
I know you're going to be talking a lot of trash to these guys today.
Oh, maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
Maybe some trash
All right.
talking.
And straight in front of me, wearing the blue suit, my man Jay. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Welcome back. I am completely unprepared for this show. All right, I'm just let you know that right now. So this is going to be really average, if not average anymore. You know what I'm saying?
And what, you thought you were doing good stuff before?
I was doing great things. What are you talking about? I'm the champion of this, man.
All right, and over here to my right, Filsner's in the studio as well. What's up, Filsner?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's good to have you back. Good to have the Joes back. You just came back from leave. Now it's my turn. Tomorrow, I'm out of here.
Oh, you're out of here
I'm
tomorrow?
out of here.
Thank you, Jesus.
So where are you headed to?
I'm heading down to Kyoto for a week.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Little R&R. Yeah.
Not bad right there. Not bad. Well, gentlemen, we got a bunch of things to talk about today. Of course, Johnny Manziel will be on the topic of discussion. We'll talk about Tony Stewart and his little incident that he had, possible implications and things that might happen with that. Also, Ray Rice's suspension, NFL rookies Daniel Cormier and John Jones fight is now in jeopardy, and NFL rankings. Fan rankings got released, and you'll be kind of interested to know who were in the top 3. They're saying the best fans of the best teams. Their team. They have the most. What would you say? Fan sport. There you go. Excuse me. Thank you for clearing that up for me. All right, well, stay tuned. We're going to have more with the Joes here in a moment, but I got to get back to the music. Here's Disclosure, Sam Smith with Latch. 9:16, the Blur right there with song 2. It's back in the Eagle A10 studio. It's the Average Joe Sports Show. Kellen, we got Hollywood, Jay, and Filsner in the studio. And our first topic of discussion is, football season is here. Yes. Everybody, for the last year, we've been hearing nothing about Johnny Football. Everybody talking about Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Benchwarmer.
Everything he's been doing,
right.
In the off season and whatnot. But, after his last week's first preseason game, which, by the way, we got some football on right now. AFN Sports, check it out. Chicago and Jacksonville in the first quarter. Jacksonville's up 3-0. It is just preseason, but you know what? It's good to have football on.
Right.
Back to the topic at hand, though. Johnny Manziel. What are his chances you think he starts the first preseason game over Brian Hoyer? Do you see this happening or what?
First preseason or
I'm sorry, for week 1 at the NFL.
Week 1, yeah.
Well, right now the Browns announced that Hoyer's going to start second game. So right now,
Second preseason game.
So Hoyer has the job, but you don't draft a quarterback in the first round to keep him on the bench. So right now I think Cleveland's probably just giving Hoyer the courtesy to lose the job to Manziel, but ultimately they're going to end up going with Manziel. I mean, he's a high-profile athlete. That's just with not only the skill but the media that comes with it. I'm sure it'll be good for the Browns. So Manziel, I don't think he'll start the first game unless something great happens in the second game of the preseason. But down the road, the job will be his.
All right.
There's a 0% chance he starts. All right, and that's basically
0% chance.
0%. I'm gonna tell you exactly
what.
Absolute.
It's basically due to
Wow.
ownership. Did we not forget what the owner said about Johnny Manziel, about him not being here to be the starter, about him actually taking a back seat to Brian Hoyer? It would be a foot in the mouth type of thing if they ended up starting him week 1. All right, so I think from an ownership standpoint, they're going to eventually start him because the fans are asking for him, and then when Brian Hoyer starts messing up. But starting him week 1, I think they're going to try to stick to their guns and be like, we're going to go with Brian Hoyer. But that will last for all but 3 games, and then he'll be starting by week 4.
And what do you say to that, Filsner?
I don't think he's going to start week 1 just because he has no experience in the NFL, and he is a real wild card.
Hold on, though. You said that as if that's a reason we've seen rookies come in and start before.
Well, we have seen rookies come in and start. We've seen rookies who are actually good rookies come in and start. I don't think he's actually going to be.
Manziel was a good quarterback in the best conference in college football.
He was a good quarterback
so
in
good
the
experience.
SEC, but he's also a running quarterback.
So
all right, this guy,
Russell Wilson,
he is,
Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick.
He's going to get the starting job, and he's going to lose it by the end of the season.
RG3 still has a starting job. Cam Newton still has a starting
But
job.
those guys are different players than Manziel. Manziel, he's a smaller guy than both of them.
I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I've only seen one preseason game of Manziel. But, man, he didn't look bad.
He has a strong, he's a very strong
He
arm.
made some good plays.
Yeah.
And then when he even took off, he was very smart. The first thing he did, dumb thing he did that first time he slid head first.
Head and he got whacked.
He slid head first, got slapped up a little bit. I'm pretty sure the Browns owner was like, hey, homeboy, we drafted you the first round. Don't get yourself knocked out.
Right.
So then after that, he was sliding and he was getting out of bounds. but he's a very heady player. And I'm telling you,
it.
I didn't like Manziel in college. I didn't like him at all. But
He's
since
very
he
sporadic.
since he has so much hate
Potential.
behind him,
He has
I do.
potential.
I'm starting to kind of root for the guy because I'm like, he does play for the Browns,
But he's in a
they're
tough
harmless.
division. That's the
Oh,
only problem.
that
He's in a
is.
defensive
Definitely is.
division. So
it's going to be interesting. Johnny Football will still be talking about him for the next year.
until
he could
the
be the
Steelers
next.
get to him.
Exactly. All right. Well, listen, let's keep it moving. Now, sprint car driver Kevin Ward Jr., he was actually struck last Saturday and killed by NASCAR and sprint car driver Tony Stewart. They had a little heated exchange where they kind of got tossed up. Stewart hit him in the back. Boom, he wrecked his car. Kevin Ward jumped out of the car, a little upset, was pointing at Stewart, whatever. Stewart does a whole lap around. Some other cars avoided Ward, and then Stewart's car actually comes around, kind of hits him. He gets sucked up underneath, boom, tossed. The video, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the video.
Yeah,
it's pretty
graphic.
Pretty graphic. I mean, you don't see everything, but you see enough.
Yeah, you get the idea.
And you get the idea, exactly. And what did you make of this footage? And do you think Tony Stewart should be charged, criminally charged?
Well, I mean, first thing is in any of these professional sports is safety, and Ward coming out on the track like that is probably the most unsafe thing you can do. Those other drivers were able to avoid him narrowly, but I don't know what Tony Stewart was coming from, where we said he didn't see him, but I think Stewart probably should get charged with something, maybe at least by NASCAR. I mean, it's negligence on his part at the minimum. Even if he didn't intentionally hit him, it's negligence. It's a safety concern. He should just be watching out what's going on the track at all times anyway.
I mean, first and foremost, I think we should all pay respects to Ward.
Definitely.
To Ward.
20 years old.
20 years old. That's a young life. I mean, we can go from both ends. I'm not going to sit here and put blame or intent on Tony Stewart because you don't know what he was doing. We've had some NASCAR analysts actually say he looked like he was trying to avoid. It's not stock car racing.
Yeah.
All right, they're on dirt track. You don't know exactly what was going on.
Yeah, you do. You do hear the engine though.
Yeah, you
do hear the engine rev.
But I heard from one, it's like you rev the engine to try to turn. Somebody had Tony Stewart's defense, and I forgot exactly what he said.
Yeah, those tracks are really like drifting mostly.
They really are. And
So-
see, I'll say personally, I don't feel like Tony Stewart. I obviously don't think he tried to kill him.
Right.
But I do think he maybe was trying to scare him, and it
but
kind of
we
got
don't
out
know
of
the
hand.
intent.
It was almost like some chicken. Like he's like, okay, you're gonna stand in front of my car. I'm coming. You better move. And he's thinking the guy was gonna move, and he didn't because the dad, Kevin Ward Sr., actually brought up. He goes, how come every other driver out there saw him and missed him? They didn't hit him. They saw him on the track.
Well,
but then the guy he was actually mad at, that he actually had the little beef with, was the one that happened to hit him. That's
Well,
much
here's the
coincidence
thing, though,
there.
because if you watch the video, there was another guy in front of Stewart that swerves to avoid him. There is always the possibility that Stewart's view of this guy may have been obscured by that guy, the other driver in front of him. Plus, I mean, you can't pin all the blame on Stewart because this guy, he got out of his car, ran out onto the track, and is antagonizing Stewart. I mean, that's just a bad idea in general. Like, yes,
it
Stewart
happens.
shouldn't have hit
It's
him.
not the first time we've
It's not
seen
the
that in
first
racing,
time.
though.
That's true. That's true.
It's not
but
saying it's okay,
It's
but
not
it's not the
safe.
first time.
There needs to be
He
rules
put himself in a
against
bad
that.
situation. Like that's no blame. I think it's an accident. It's a tragedy, and to take it any further than that is just
I mean, for me, something has to happen, and I don't think it has to be criminal charges, but he should face some big
Something about
stiff
NASCAR.
Suspension from NASCAR.
suspension, maybe stiff fine or something,
Oh, he's
because he can't
beating
get off
himself
scot free.
up.
Because at the same time,
He's a
it's-
hothead. He has a
is.
reputation for a hothead.
He very much does. He is a hothead, and for this to happen with Tony Stewart is kind of like, man, it's kind of no bueno,
Kinda
man, with
iffy.
all the incidents you've had in your
Little
career.
sketchy.
But all right, folks, well, stay tuned. Remember, check out AFN Sports for all of our latest sports action going on AFN, and also myafn.net for your complete TV schedule needs. We got your weather, your getting rate, and more music on the way here on the Average Joe Sports Show.
You're tuned in to the Average Joe Sports Show by there. Keep it locked to Eagle 810 for our highly average take on sports talk.
9:31, we're back, and it is the Average Joe Sports Show. Kellen, Hollywood, Jay, and Filsner in the studio. It's time for what we like to call the lightning round, and we're going to go ahead and get into it, folks. You have 10 seconds to kind of give us your opinion. Buzzer will sound, and then you got to stop, and we're going to move on to the next individual. So I want to start it off with the NFL rookies, all right? Which rookie receiver do you think will have the biggest impact this year in the NFL, and why? We'll start with you, Hollywood.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest, man, and say that I don't really care too much about rookies and training camp. I'm gonna quote my boy Eric Weddle and say they were good in college, but this, in training camp, but this is the pros. Once the season starts, then I'll start getting more interest on who's gonna be good.
All right, Jay, go ahead, man.
All right, I'm gonna buzz this dude myself. All right, Sammy Watkins, man. Sammy Watkins is an absolute beast mode. He was a beast in college. He's been a beast so far in the preseason. They say he looks amazing. I say Sammy Watkins has the best year.
All right, and who you got for us, Filsner?
All right, I'm going with Brandon Cooks.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, man.
No,
I took you a
go
second.
ahead.
All right, he's a quick, shifty receiver, and he has one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL throwing to him.
Dude, Brandon Cooks out of Oregon State is going to be a monster. I'm going to tell you right now. He's only 5'10", 180 pounds, dripping wet.
But he's quick and he's
Dude
shifty.
is quick, and you know what?
Deshaun
With
Jackson.
Marquise Colston, with the decline of Marquise Colston, he's going to, and Jimmy Williams there is obviously getting, Jimmy Graham, excuse me. Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
He's getting, double and triple team. They got to have somebody else to give it to, and I think Brandon Cooks is going to be a great one. All right, and our next topic, we got the NBA schedule was released yesterday. LeBron will return to Miami on Christmas Day. All right. So how do you think he'll be received? I mean, how do you think he should be received is the better question, Hollywood.
Yeah. Obviously he took Miami to 4 NBA Finals. 1, 2. I think the fans should treat him with respect when he gets there. He wanted to go home to give his home crowd, the same kind of results. So he should be welcomed.
Jay.
Look, all right, first and foremost, they should receive him very, very well. But Miami fans are shifty anyway. We all know this. So, you know what? It really doesn't matter how they receive him. That's not even the best game on that day. Spurs and the Thunder go at it that day, son. That's the game y'all should be watching.
All right. Pilsner, what you got, brother?
All right, so I think that, he did bring him 2 championships, and he did take him to 4 consecutive NBA Finals. But then he also strong-armed him into drafting, what's his name, that kid out of Connecticut, Shabazz Napier, and then booked it out of there.
He didn't book anything. He went home.
He booked it out of there back to Cleveland.
He went home.
I think it'd go either way.
All right, that's too PC for us.
That's like
Sorry.
a Mickey Mouse answer right there.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. All right, next topic, though. Mike Vick had some words for Ray Rice. He said, just own it, put it out there. He obviously went through his own little controversy and whatnot. What do you think of Ray Rice's 2-game suspension? Was that too light in light of other people doing performance-enhancing drugs and getting 4 games, and then he had a domestic abuse case? What do you think?
Hey, I think you hit the nail right on the head. There's a lot of guys getting suspended for, what people probably consider minor infractions. He assaulted another human being, so this kind of put the focus away from
female at that.
Yeah, it put the focus on the NFL now. If you noticed,
Definitely.
So they got to do something about that.
Jay.
Yeah, I think 2 games was way too less of a sentence for him. He deserved at least. I would have been fine with 8. All right, and possibly a fine, but he really needs to listen to Michael Vick's advice. If anybody's going to tell him something, he needs to listen to Michael Vick. All
Definitely.
right? Definitely.
Filsner.
Suspension, this guy should be in jail. All right? He assaulted a woman. He should be. I'm not talking like a draconian sentence, but this guy should be doing some time. The suspension, it's not enough.
Oh, okay.
You're getting into it there, buddy.
All right. Next topic. Daniel Cormier he actually replaced the Swede Alexander Gustafsson in UFC 178 when Gustafsson got hurt. But now John Jones, the champion, light heavyweight champion, got hurt. And now it's pushed back to January. So should Gustafsson, now that he'll be healthy in January, should he be able to step up and fight Jones for the belt now? Or with Cormier and Jones' rivalry stepped up, it's heated now. Should we go ahead and see that fight first?
Yeah, so they put the kind of number 1 and number 2 contenders kind of in a pickle here, but I don't know where Gustafsson is at his recovery, but I think it might be good to have a number 1 contender match before the championship. See how that goes.
All right. Jay.
I want to see this fight between Cormier and Jones. All right, they've been beefing it up for so long, and now that Jones has got this ghost injury, okay, when he comes back, I want to see him come back fierce. I need to see this fight before I see any other fight between Jones and anybody else.
All right, and Filsner.
Well, I don't know the business side of UFC all that much, but I think if Gustafsson had like the original contract to fight Jones, and now he has that opportunity again, I think they need to honor that original contract. That's just me. Like, do right by the guy.
All right.
That's
well,
not what the fans want.
Politics. All right. And last but not least, Prime Visibility, a digital marketing agency. They ranked the 32 NFL teams by fan confidence, and they actually analyzed the sentiment based on approximately 20 million social media mentions across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and thousands of other sports communities. And the top 3 teams, all right, number 1 was Seattle Seahawks. Okay, I can understand that. They won the Super Bowl last year. Seattle's happy. Number 2 was the San Diego Chargers.
Nobody
You give me
cares.
that
And
face.
3
Get out of here.
was the Carolina Panthers. Hollywood, I'm starting with you. You're a Chargers fan.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know that Chargers fans are like really rabid and loyal, even though they're from Southern California and they seem laid back. But if you go to a Chargers game, man, if you're not wearing a Chargers jersey, you're getting pound stomped.
We know how they do in
know how
Cali.
they do
We
in
know how they do
Cali.
in Cali. You
All
would
right.
get stabbed at
Yeah,
a game.
for real.
Jay, what do you got for us?
Man, this is bogus. All right, first of all, Steeler fans are number one. Okay,
think
we
they
know
were
what
number
real
20
football
28,
fans
I
don't
think, on the
go on
list.
Twitter. Okay, real football fans don't go on Twitter. All right, and handle their favorite team. Okay, you know who our favorite team is without it. You know what I'm saying?
And Pilsner, what you
Cowboys?
got, man?
Well, this is about fan confidence in their team, and I just don't see why San Diego and Carolina fans have that much reason to be confident in their team. Yeah, Carolina did well last year, but I think that was an anomaly. But
Well,
yeah,
honestly, though, Carolina, though, they don't have any other professional teams, really. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got the
they got
Charlotte
the Hornets.
Bobcats or
Or
the
the
Hornets.
Hornets now.
the
Yeah,
Hornets.
the Hornets now. But other than that,
I think the Hornets can be better this year
yeah,
than.
and you're exactly right
yeah.
on that. I agree. Hey, listen, we got the Average Joe Sports Show. We still have one segment left. It's called What's on Your Mind? That'll be coming up here in a moment. But first, we got more music for you. These gentlemen will be playing tomorrow. I'm going to the concert, Summer Sonic 2014. Here's the Arctic Monkeys. Do I Want to Know?
And here's what the Joes have on their mind today.
9:45. It's the Average Joe Sports Show. Kellen, Hollywood, Pilsner, and Jay in the studio with me. We've been covering a slew of topics, and stuff that I typically pick out for these guys. And now it's time for them to come up with a topic on their own. Give me something that, has been intriguing you. What's on your mind, Pilsner?
Well, I just saw that apparently DeMarcus Cousins just got injured. Paul George just suffered that really bad, devastating injury. You see this whole slew of young NBA players just getting injured or
What kind of injury did DeMarcus Cousins have?
Oh shoot, man! I have to go back and
It
look.
wasn't
but
anything too bad, right?
It wasn't like super serious. It was a knee injury. I don't know. It's not like out for the season kind of thing.
Okay.
But you look at all these young guys getting injured, and it's making me wonder if this AAU basketball that kids are playing in high school, and they're playing so many games in high school, if it's not wearing them out, and then when they get to college, they wear themselves out even further. That they're already broken and beat down when they get to the NBA.
Hey.
Does this AAU basketball? Do they need to scale that back? I think maybe they do.
Hey,
I mean,
I see, you're giving him a look. You're giving him a look, Jay.
player.
But I'm gonna tell you right
He's on
now,
the hooper.
honestly though, you make a
Yeah.
good point for the simple fact of I remember when Kevin Garnett was the first high school player to come out since Moses Malone, right?
Right.
He was the first one, and then we had a bunch of high school players. But I remember when Kevin Garnett came out at 18 years old, I was thinking this guy's gonna play for 20-something years. Because
Yep.
think about it, he's 18, he's gonna play till he's 38 at least. You see a lot of players.
Like what, 36 right now?
Yeah, but I'm saying he's 36 and he looks like he's 52. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so does, Greg
I'm saying-
is 27. He looks like he's 67.
I'm not talking about how he looks. I'm talking about how he physically plays now.
I mean-
His lift, everything. Think about Kobe Bryant. These guys, they do. Getting all that mileage on them. It's one thing when you go to college and you play 30 games a year,
Yep.
and then you go to the NBA early and you get an 82-game grind.
And
It's
so
not-
much.
3 times.
You got 82 games, and you're talking about Olympics. You're talking about
so what I'm saying
playoffs.
is, though, they do start wearing off quicker. Now, I don't know that it equates necessarily to the injuries
I
as
don't
well,
know that
but,
that's necessarily-
but it is a good point. I like that.
Yeah, I do think that these guys are wearing out too soon. And it's
Alright.
tragic because you see these young careers cut short because of that.
Well, and Paul George's thing wasn't anything to do with that. That was
No.
a freak accident.
Yeah, that
All
was.
right, that was
From
sad
that
to
is
see.
drink your milk, kids.
Jay,
Get
what
your
you got,
calcium.
man?
I wanted to. The topic I had, man, was the Clippers. The deal was finally done. All right, the Clippers is now half the team is
Ballmer?
sold to Ballmer, Steve
Yeah,
Ballmer.
Steve Ballmer.
All
$2
right.
billion.
$2 billion.
A Billy, a Billy, a Billy.
That's asking price in LA these days,
So,
man.
Shelly Sterling was named. I forget what it was, like the matroness or something
I don't
like
know.
that.
Number one, officially the
Yeah,
number one fan of the
or
Clippers.
something.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a complete 100% win from, I bet, everybody wanted the Sterling name out of the Clippers organization, but it's definitely
I
a
do.
win-win situation. Kind of like you can take what you can get. The lesser of two evils, as such. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
having her at the games is not a big deal for me, but the fact that the team is finally sold, the Clippers are now in the right direction, and Doc Rivers has Ballmer's complete support, all right, and vice versa, because he's raving about Ballmer already. So I like where the Clippers are going.
I just hope they don't go to like that Microsoft neon green and blue scheme that all the Seattle teams go to. Man.
Awful,
Microsoft.
horrible looking
No,
jerseys
man,
coming out of that
it's to be
place.
seen. All right, Hollywood, what do you got for us, man?
I just saw that last week we heard about that ruling, the NCAA ruling, where the colleges now are going to have that self-awareness of being able to pay their players that stipend now. So
Okay.
it seems to be going in a good direction now for college players to start getting a little bit more than just well, I can't say just a free education, but with the likenesses that they're used in other sponsorships and marketing that the NCAA uses for, it's good to see that they're starting to get compensated for their skill sets. Because like we were just talking about, some of these kids, they get worn down and sometimes they don't make it out of college and they don't have nothing else. Yeah, they might have an education, but maybe maybe they don't have that job market right now.
And you know what? The fact of the matter is, and people, you can say what you want, but some of these kids, they're getting that free education, but they're not that smart.
Right.
Growing up, they didn't because they're
Correct.
getting off their gifted
That is
talent.
true.
Yes.
They don't have the fundamental. They didn't have the fundamental education that it takes to actually get through college.
You can't fail the quarterback.
So they do.
Right.
They should be compensated in some way. If the colleges can take advantage of them and make
Correct.
millions off them every year, they should be able to get a little something.
And also, if you're going to suspend a guy for taking money, like this helps out that situation too, with all these illicit benefits and things like that. I think it's going to alleviate that situation to a certain extent where you're going to see less of
And
that.
people don't realize too, these D1 athletes, when you're a scholarship athlete, you're not allowed to have a full-time job.
No.
People
Correct.
don't realize that.
Right.
You're not allowed to have a full-time job.
Get your
You are
get your
not
money,
allowed to work,
Johnny.
So you
And
got
they're
to
not
get
getting
your money
enough
somewhere.
to
Those
even
autographs.
to eat. They don't got enough to eat.
Yep.
You
All
eating something.
well,
You eating.
my topic that I wanted to bring up today is I got to say big shout out to Monet Davis. All right.
All
She's
right.
not your typical youth baseball player. 13-year-old pitching for I think it's Taney, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Through a 8-0,
justice, please.
a 6 strikeout effort,
that's
and
your peeps over there.
they won 8-0 against Newark, New Jersey. And or Delaware, I'm sorry. And she said afterwards, 13-year-old girl hit 70 miles an hour on the radar gun, throwing the pitches, killing them. And she said, people, they're surprised by her effort and everything. She said, well, don't be surprised because I'll probably either be the first female in the MLB or the NBA. She's out there. She said,
She's bold.
yeah, she's
30 for
the real
30.
deal.
That's
So
Real bold.
big shout out to Monet Davis, 13-year-old girl in there in the Little League World
Yeah,
Series.
Good luck. I hope to see her out there representing the U.S.
Definitely.
Spurs.
Hey, it's 9:51, and I got to say, fellas, thank you very much. I do appreciate you guys. Another great Average Joe Sports Show, man. You guys all did fantastic today.
Thank you.
Pointed at me
did.
on that one.
I
So.
know I did. You don't have to tell me.
You're right. I didn't tell you. All right.
You probably do better than the Steelers are going to do this year.
Stick around, folks. We got
Fighting
your
after the
weather
shots
and your
fired.
yin rate, as well as some Ed Sheeran here on the Morning Cruise Control.